Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Landy Lodge. I hope you and your families are all doing well. With that said, it has been a crazy last couple of weeks with the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and man, was it a wild ride or what? Today we're going to talk about how I believe FF7R laid a solid foundation for Yuffie not just to be introduced in the next game, but perhaps even at the very beginning. But before we dive too deep into that, let's go over Yuffie's home of Wutai and how its differences in the remake are building Yuffie's character before we even meet her. In the original, Wutai had lost its war to Shinra, had watered itself down into a tourist attraction, and established that materia was completely banned from within the city walls. This is a stark contrast to what we are being told in the remake. We are told in several instances that Wutai may in fact be funding Avalanche in a deal that would bring all of Midgar's materia into Wutai.
So then why are they here?
Beats me. We've been on the outs ever since our cell got labeled too extreme, though they're the ones running around with mil-spec gear. Word is, they cut a deal with Wutai. Promised them all the materia in Midgar, apparently. Think there's any truth to that?
Did you know Wutai is the one funding their activities? For all their claims about fighting for the slums, they're nothing more than pawns of Wutai, puppets dancing to the tune of their foreign masters. And that's the truth. Topside news delivered straight to your ears.
However, it is worth noting that this narrative that Wutai is funding Avalanche was created by Shinra.
I trust the narrative is intact.
Rock solid. The people have embraced the Wutai Avalanche conspiracy wholeheartedly. I've almost come to believe it myself.
Wutai's response?
So far, nothing.
Even though Shinra admits to fabricating the Wutai funding Avalanche conspiracy, Wutai's lack of a response is pretty peculiar, and is a detail that should not be ignored. So whether Wutai is funding Avalanche or not, the point here is, either way, Wutai is in a position to be much more important to the story. What makes this so intriguing is that in the original, Yuffie is the one who wants to bring materia back into Wutai and rage against Shinra. However, the state of Wutai is compliant with Shinra's orders. What this tells us is that in the remake, we very well may encounter a Yuffie whose state of Wutai shares the same goals as her. Hell, she may even be involved with Avalanche for all we know. If I'm being honest, I really love this, because in the original game where Yuffie was completely optional and non-essential to the main story, with Wutai seemingly playing a much bigger role this time around, Yuffie is now positioned to be essential in the game's plot. Now, with that covered, here's why I believe we are going to bump into Yuffie at the very beginning of the next game. Final Fantasy VII Remake has a very interesting predicament on their hands, and I believe that Yuffie is actually the solution. Somehow, in the next game, they are going to need to reset the player and their stats to some degree. I'm sure some, if not most stats and abilities will transfer over into the next installment, but how do you make the player feel like they're starting over while keeping those particular things intact? Well, you take away their materia. And who better to do it than the great ninja thief herself, Yuffie. Maybe now, after we leave Calm before heading to the cargo ship, we now will take a detour to Wutai to try and reclaim our materia, and perhaps even have Yuffie join our party. So yeah, I think Yuffie will be introduced to us at the very beginning of the next game. It will serve as a vehicle for the game to continue exploring backstories and lore after Calm, and also will provide an opportunity for the party to lose their materia and give the player the feeling of starting over. With Wutai's new established role, that leaves the possibility for Yuffie's character wide open. Maybe now, she has a high-ranking position in the Wutai hierarchy. Maybe she's working as a commander in Avalanche. Or maybe, just maybe, she has once again divorced herself from the state and could be lurking around Midgar under a certain alias. But that, my friends, is another video for another day. So what do you guys think? Think I'm onto something here? And what did you think of Final Fantasy VII Remake? Drop a comment down below, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see all of you beautiful sickos and normies next time.